So oil prices, oh, blink and you miss it. Back in the 70s, this is the first time since early March as investors await details on the U.S. and Iran peace deal. Now, President Trump says that the full text of the agreement should come out after the signing ceremony on Friday. But the White House is outlining some key points, like Tehran won't have a nuclear weapon, the Strait of Hormuz will reopen, the U.S. will lift its blockade, and Iran will be open for investment if the regime behaves.
There are benefits to Iran if they perform their end of the obligation, not money from the United States, but maybe Qatar or the UAE or Saudi Arabia. Our approach to that is going to be, yeah, you can do that so long as the Iranians are behaving properly. They don't get any of that stuff unless they totally transform themselves as a country. And if they do, that's a huge win for everybody, for the region. If they don't, no skin off our backs.
How do you read this deal, Michael Lee?
Look, I think it's spectacular. Right? I don't care about the details. I care about the directionality of what's happening. All right? This is the least popular war at the beginning, kind of in modern history. All right? I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, but I'm far more fearful of what the Democrats will do to me and my family than I am what Iran will do. And the Republicans are down double digits in the generic ballot for the midterms. All right. And like you can see in the voter intensity in the turnout of the Democrats in their primaries versus the Republicans. So, look, the key difference between this deal and then what Obama did is this was done under duress. All right. And without the forcing function of Trump taking out the Ayatollah and their leadership and knowing that if Iran wants to play all these games, you know, there's a chance that they go a little bit too far and the people negotiating right now will cease to exist in a period of time. And so that is an unbelievable forcing function that no other leader in this country could push. OK, but we need the price of oil down. We need to get this economy back on track, not necessarily from a stock market standpoint, but for those in the bottom half and the bottom quarter of this country. And it's a clear distraction from the domestic agenda for which Trump was elected on. Yeah. So it's time to go. I hope they don't release the details because
hold on. Can I just ask a question? Because I think a lot of people would say the details are more important than directionality, or otherwise, like the left says, this is just what Obama did. So what was the point of it when you had the Obama deal that looked similar?
Great point. 13,000 targets in 38 days. Okay, we have decimated them militarily, and we have brought them to the table. And like it's from my sources, these sanctions, they do very little. The Iranians have all sorts of other creative ways to get oil out and to make money, and the forcing function here is not blocking the Straits of Hormuz. The forcing function here is bombing the you-know-what out of them, as Trump said he would do. And if you can look, they were playing games. I think it was a week and a half ago that spurred this on. We bombed them for a night, and then all of a sudden we're back at the table. We have a deal. So these details will evolve over time, and there are a lot of people that want to see this, see us at war for a very long time, including the Democrats, because they know how unpopular this is, right? And then other interests that want us to completely take them out, which is just not. There's 100 million people there. We cannot conduct, or we can't put boots in the ground. It doesn't work. Yeah. Right? Like the reason why it's so unpopular is because of how poorly the last two adventures went. Like you've lost 150,000 service members from the global war on terror through suicide, drug overdoses, and addiction. Enough is enough. Okay, we put this to a forcing function. I believe they'll never get a nuclear weapon as a result of this. That's good enough for me. Let's move on.
Well said. Lauren, we love having you on the program because Brian and I always joke, and our offices are next to each other. We're like, oh, did you get Lauren's email on the Strait of Hormuz, right? And you've been so good at tracking our ships going, our ships not. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Kepler data said only 2 ships came today. But oil's down to 75. Now, part of this was details that maybe Iran gets to sell oil as part of this plan. There were details that we were sneaking out 100 million barrels in the last month through economic freedom, Project Freedom. And so I think I'm looking at 74.99 on crude and say, okay, now you're starting to give me some hope.
Oil is getting to the market because of all these different creative ways, and the Strait of Hormuz is losing its importance, and the U.S. Gulf Coast is gaining its importance. All that is being reworked as we see it. as we're living it. But anything and everything can happen between now and when we get these details of the deal on Friday, if it is indeed signed then. And Iran is definitely doing something right now. I can confirm that one of their sanctioned tankers, called the Diona, put her AIS, her signal on at 10:30 Eastern time this morning. She was tracked. She jumped the U.S. blockade line. And satellite imagery is showing other Iranian vessels that are sanctioned moving to fill up with oil or moving out of the Gulf to sell their oil. Something is happening right now. I cannot wait to see how the hours progress and we get to Friday, when just like that, the Strait of Hormuz will be open and that oil could potentially be sold on the market. Normalization for any of these countries will probably not happen until November at the earliest, so this is very much a 2027 story. We're going to be talking about this through the year.
Lydia, how do you read this?
You know, I think it's really interesting that this is all unfolding right now, this Iran deal, peace deal talk, as simultaneous to the G7, because you just have to wonder what that room is like as President Trump is meeting with these European leaders.
Who did nothing.
Exactly. And how, I would imagine, exhausted they are feeling. I mean, they've had to weather tariffs. They've had to weather NATO questions. They are now having to weather this Iran war that they were sheepish about. Some of them denounced it from the beginning. And now here we are. We maybe are about to wrap it up. And I would argue the world is in a better place for it. Yes, we have questions in the short term about the direction of oil and what that's going to do. But I think big picture, longer term, like I said in the first hour, we have definitely put ourselves solidly on America first, being energy independent, energy dominant, reshoring manufacturing, chip manufacturing, all of the things. So it feels like now is a good time for our European allies to come to the table and say, you know what? Maybe you're onto something, and maybe we will support you, and maybe that's going to come to fruition when it comes to talking about. You think I'm being too optimistic?
There's no way that Brian believes any bone in his body believes that Europe will ever show up to help
Well, you know
us,
what?
right,
I think
Brian?
one way that they could do that, though, Brian, I would put this to you then, when we're talking about opening the Strait and making sure that it remains toll-free, open, and anybody can pass
Call
through.
toll-free. Lines are open.
Yeah.
Europe waiting by.
But maybe we could use some help with that, and I think Europe could probably play a role.
I mean, if they did now, it'd be like so after the fact. What would they do? Show up with like their boats and their flags and sit there?
Yes.
Like,
That's what they would do.
I have no hope. I have no hope for Europe. I have zero hope for Europe. Not a country in that zone, whatever they call it. And you can throw the UK in there too, because Keir Starmer's awful. Michael Lee, I wish you would tell us what you really think instead of being so wishy-washy. Look, I do want to see the terms of the deal. I do think it matters because I want to know what we're supposed to be watching them to do. Because if there's anything in this deal where it's like you get money if you do this, I want to know what this is, and I want to see that this is worth it. But I agree with you in the bigger point that I think this thing was worth it, and I think the win was so much bigger than anybody gives credit for, not because the deal will be great, but because we obliterated their military and their nukes. We stole all of their allies in the region and made them our friends. Yeah. And we tilted forever the energy playing field on the globe in our direction. So I don't know if the deal is, I don't even know what the deal is. Nobody knows what the deal is. I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't think Iran's going to keep it. It doesn't really matter because they've lost, okay? Now, the one thing I don't agree with you on is this idea like we got to get out now because Democrats are going to win an election. Like, man, they're going to win an election. In the next, you name how many years, Democrats are going to be in power again. Like, that is a problem America is going to have to solve independent of this war. So I don't want to let the midterm drive what we do with what I think can be a huge win.
It doesn't have to be. And they don't have to win anything, because if you can win in 2028, you can redo the census and you can control the census to not include illegal immigrants and to make up for the missteps of 2020 and actually account for the population growth. Meaning by 2032, a Republican will not need to carry the Rust Belt, which means if the Democrats want power, they need to come back to reality and give policies that the Sun Belt will vote for, which currently they do not have. So it is, we are at like we are at a fulcrum point, a crux in time where the stakes for each election get bigger and bigger as they move further and further to the left. All right. And it's, you know, you guys were talking the last hour, this political violence. Yeah. And, you know, my friend Lou is being a little bit too kind. I think half the Democrats or half the liberals under the age of 30 think political violence is justified. Yeah. One of the chairs of the DNC, or somebody in the DNC committee member was tweeting out, "Free Luigi." That's like, they think it's okay to murder you if you're rich or you represent something like. This is a real problem. These two sides do not come together. One side wins, one side loses, and you cannot lose sight of that fight. The fight for our country is exponentially more important than the fight for Iran or the Straits of Hormuz or peace in the Middle East.
But I agree with you. I think you're identifying problems. But that's way bigger than an election, man. If that's like the cultural rot we've got in this country, and I think we've got a lot of it, it ain't going to be solved with an election and a midterm. It's not going to be solved with a presidential election. Like, it is a deep fight with every institution that either makes civilization possible or could kill civilization. So, fine, but that doesn't go away. The midterms don't make any of the stupid Luigi people will be here as long as we live in a country where a sizable enough population are willing to tolerate.
But look, if the Democrats get one extra seat in the House, 50 Senate seats in the White House, our elections and our country is going to turn into Los Angeles. Right, that's where we're headed. These are the stakes. So, you know,
I do think I agree that's
like these are the stakes, and it will happen. The speed with which they're moving is growing at an increasing rate. And like, I'm sorry, I don't want to get lined up against the wall by some 25-year-old Bolshevik and shot in the head.
That was a great conversation, actually. I really enjoyed that debate, and I learned a lot from both sides. So I actually really respect that.